Some storm sewers lead directly to local waterways without treatment. This is why it's so important to educate staff on spill prevention and not allow spills to happen in the first place. Always have spill kits on hand and readily accessible, and train personnel in spill containment before a spill reaches a storm drain. Always train staff in spill cleanup and how to properly dispose of spilled materials and cleanup products, especially if the spill is a hazardous product or chemical or a hazardous waste. While proper spill prevention takes time and resources, these are small costs to prevent paying for a spill. In the state of Oregon, fines for contamination can range from several $100s to $500,000. Did you know that 1 gallon of oil can contaminate 1 million gallons of water? Many automotive fluids and liquid landscaping products can contain aquatic toxins. Spills can cause serious damage to local wildlife, marine life, and waterways. While catch basins may have filtration to help slow or filter a spill, storm drains do not have a filtration system, and many storm sewers lead directly to local waterways without treatment. Now let's look at best management practices for spill prevention, secondary containment, and spill response plans. First and foremost, the best practice is to prevent spills from happening. Here are some tips on how to prevent spills and leaks. Use secondary containment for all 55-gallon containers of chemicals or wastes, and for small containers of chemicals or liquid hazardous wastes. In the event that customers arrive with leaking cars, keep a few extra drip pans accessible and ready to quickly place under leaking vehicles when they arrive. Store chemicals in non-tipping containers, on stable shelving, and in secondary containment in low foot traffic zones. Use spill-proof fluid transfer systems. Regularly inspect containers for degradation and intact lids or seals. Train staff in preventative chemical storage, transfer of fluids from one container to another, and handling. Store chemicals and liquid waste indoors whenever possible, and if they are outdoors, keep them under cover to protect from stormwater runoff, the elements, and vandalism. Post no dumping signs and label or stencil storm drains to let all staff and customers know that only rain goes down the drain. Segregate incompatible materials based on physical and chemical properties to prevent the possibility of reactions that could compromise containers. Although it won't prevent spills, switching to less toxic products reduces the environmental impacts of a spill should one happen. In the event of a spill, the most important aspect is preparedness. Develop a spill response plan which should include all elements shown here. Note that larger shops or fleets with sizable above-ground or below-ground oil storage may be required to have a Spill Prevention Control and Countermeasure Plan, or SPCC, on file with the EPA. Check to see if your business needs one, and follow all guidance on creating an SPCC. Links to SPCC resources can be found at the end of this video. Implement the Spill Response Plan with training and ongoing oversight. Post emergency contact numbers and let staff know the scenarios when responders or agencies need to be called. Ensure spill kits are easily accessible, easily opened, and that staff know where they are. Ensure cleanup materials and absorbents are suitable for the types of spills that could occur on site. Lastly, ensure spill kits are fully restocked after any spills. In the event of a spill, please follow these best management practices. React swiftly. Always wear PPE such as gloves, goggles, and a mask if the chemical or waste is hazardous. If the spill is headed toward a catch basin or storm drain, immediately place a drain cover or mat over the inlet and place absorbent pads around the inlet before proceeding with cleanup. If a leak or spill does reach a catch basin or storm drain, call the proper agencies and an emergency spill cleanup company. Major fines can be avoided by notifying an agency to assist with a spill that reaches a storm drain. Follow spill kit instructions and your spill response plan to clean up the spill. Use dry methods like sweeping or vacuuming used absorbents. Never mop or hose down a spill. Ensure proper disposal of the collected spilled material, contaminated pads, and absorbents. If a hazardous material or waste has spilled, the absorbents and cleanup materials must be disposed of as hazardous waste. Now, here are some best management practices for containment. All liquids in containers of 55 gallons or greater should have secondary containment. Berms, spill pallets, spill trays, and spill containers are all suitable containment measures. The sizing of containment volume is based on the total size of the chemical or waste container, not necessarily the amount of liquid that is currently or typically contained in it. Aside from preventing spills in the first place, the best method is to provide containment of at least 110% of the volume of all containers 55 gallons or larger, whether the material is hazardous or not. It's also wise to have 110% containment for smaller containers, especially when the material could pose environmental harm in the case of a leak or spill. Protecting our local waterways through secondary containment and proper spill response is the first step in protecting our community's health. When oil and chemicals spill into our waterways, it goes into our drinking water. As a business, you have the ability to protect the health of your employees, our environment, and our community by properly preparing for and responding to spills.